Open your ears and lube up your butthole. It's time for the What Do We Call It podcast. Now, here's your host. It's Jmann. Welcome to the What Do We Call It podcast. I'm Jmann, and with me here today is my friend
Matt.
And we are here to talk about
testicular cancer.
We're here to talk about Matt's balls. Ball now, singular sense.
That's correct.
That is correct. You were diagnosed with what? Specifically, what terms did he use?
Well, testicular cancer, I mean...
Well, no shit, I know. But what is it, testicular carcinoma, or what the fuck are we talking about here?
Oh, I don't even recall. I mean, there's only two kinds of testicular cancer, from what I understand, and I had the good kind of testicular cancer.
The good kind. Well, it couldn't have been all that good, because just like Tom Green, you lost a nut.
Yeah, I forgot. And what's the other celebrity? The bike racer.
Lance Armstrong.
Lance Armstrong, thank you. Stretch Armstrong.
The dirty cheater.
Yeah, his situation was a little more crazy, though, because he basically didn't know he had testicular cancer until it was basically killing him.
Oh.
He was like literally dying. Like his organs were shutting down. His brain was, I think, affected. So his situation was pretty bad. I don't know what kind he had, but I don't know how he was able to let it go on so long, or if it came on really, really fast. But yeah, it's kind of crazy. Do you just want me to start like how it started, or like start from the beginning?
Well, I rattled off some questions here on paper, so we're going to go down the line here. What tipped you off?
Well, you know, per instructions we were given in high school about self-exams in the shower, I still have done that throughout my life. And that's basically how I caught this. Sometime in, I think, mid-February 2017, I was examining myself in the shower, and I felt something weird, something hard on my right testicle.
I'm trying not to laugh when you say you're examining yourself in the shower.
Well, I mean, that's what it is. It's a self-exam. And something wasn't right. You know, so I felt something that I had not felt before. And I kind of blew it off at first. I was like, oh, that's... Because it kind of scared me. I'm like, oh, that can't be right. And it kind of freaked me out. Well, I let it go a week, and then next week I checked again, and I'm like, oh, it's still there. This thing's hard, and man, that ain't supposed to be there. Because I can't remember. I don't honestly know the anatomy that well, all the terms. You know, there's something in there that's kind of in the back of your testicles that's hard, and it wasn't that. It was like in the front lower portion. So that's how I found out. I found that, and then I basically, that was on a Sunday, and then the following Monday I made an appointment, and I called the clinic. There's the Blaine Medical Center there. It's a big building, and I figured, hey, they probably got everything there.
When you're done, you can go bowl a game at Blainebrook.
That's called bowlers now.
No, that's Bolero, and that used to be the Brunswick.
Yeah, right. It used to be whatever. I don't know. Anyway,
Blainebrook purists would knife you for mixing those two up.
You're probably right. So I made an appointment, or I called them, and I said, yeah, I need to make an appointment for a physical. And they basically told me they're like a month or two out. And then I'm like, okay, wait. This is the situation. They're like, okay, yeah, you can come in tomorrow. I'm like, all right, awesome. So they sensed there was some urgency there. And next question, or should I just continue?
When you say you felt it on your ball, now, was it like hard like a frozen snow pea, or what about was the size from the way when you were manipulating yourself? Too? You know, you're like, oh, that's not supposed to be there. And
yeah, it was definitely hard. Like I could squeeze it, and it was hard. So it was the size of a Planters cheese ball, I would say.
What?
That's what it felt like. Yeah, something about that big.
Jesus Christ.
You know, it's bigger than a marble, so that's why I was concerning. I'm like, wow, the thing kind of feels big, and I was kind of wondering how long it'd been there. I feel like I do at least an exam 2-3 times a month. I feel like I was doing it, like pretty much all my life.
Whereas I almost never do them.
Yeah, so, all the dudes listening, I haven't done that in a while. They should do it. I mean, they say testicular cancer occurs in men predominantly between the age of 22 and 35. And I'm 30.
Sweet.
I'm 35. I turn 36 next month, so
you almost made it.
almost, yeah.
Fuck.
So yeah, I would definitely check it out. And the other thing too is physicals. There are tumor markers in your blood. So if you do have a tumor swimming around somewhere, I mean that's the point of some of the blood testing they do. They can find tumor markers in your blood, and in fact that's what they found when. Anyway, I can get to that point.
So you go in, he checks your balls.
Yeah,
he's
so
like, uh-oh.
Yeah, so basically, I assumed it was a tumor. Okay, I didn't know what other scenarios there could be. Mm-hmm. So he gives me the exam, and he's like, yeah, we need to ultrasound this thing, and he's like, it could be a cyst, and I was like, oh wow, that would be awesome. He's like, if it's a cyst, we just monitor it, and if it's a tumor, then we take the next step. So, the Blaine Medical Center, the way that this worked out is pretty sweet. They, he gave me the exam. They immediately bring me over to Suburban Imaging, which has a place right there in the Blaine Medical Center.
Do a CAT scan?
No, they did an ultrasound.
Oh.
So yeah, that was. I was like, oh, okay, this is gonna
goop up your balls. Huh?
Yeah, I was like, this is gonna be weird.
Was it a lady?
Yeah, of course it was a very attractive female.
Yes.
It was funny.
Hey, thank your stars that it wasn't some fat old bag with like whiskers. It's like, all right, we're going to get this cold jelly and then I'm going to take a look at what's going on in
mean, she was very professional. You could tell she's done it before. And
she's seen some dicks.
Well, no, she didn't because they use towels. I mean, you cover yourself up. She's only seeing my testicles. The sack. That's all she saw. So
I'm shaking my head. That's unfortunate.
What was I supposed to... Anyway, but
like, oops, washcloth fell off. Hands behind your head. Okay, let's do this shit.
Yeah. I'm sure you would have given yourself an erection before she...
How do I give myself an erection? I can't just will a boner to happen.
No, I mean, I had time before she came in, so I'm saying that's when you...
Oh, so you mean I could have fluffed it a bit?
Yeah, and then maybe impressed her.
Like, huh? How about that? She's like, yeah, my boyfriend's black. Shut up.
Yeah, and she's like, I know. She's like, well, maybe, and then she ultrasounds you, and it's like, well, yeah, you got cancer. You have one ball, so I don't care how big your wiener is. We're moving on.
That's kind of cold-hearted if she said something like that.
She got the goop out. It was warm, thankfully. And yeah, she put that on there and she checked both of them. Just ran the thing around just like you see when they do it on pregnant women's stomachs.
Right. And,
I couldn't really see the monitor. It wasn't like, hey, this is a show. Like we're looking at a fetus or a baby, it wasn't like that. It was, I could glance to the right a little bit and see the thing had a blood flow. I mean, she even made a joke about that. It was kind of a little morbid. She did the thing where she turns on the sound like when you check the baby's heartbeat, and it was like
you had a pulse in your tumor.
Yeah, it was like boom 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 boom, or it's thumping, and she's like oh I would say this is the baby's heartbeat, but it's the blood flow of this whatever this is. I'm like, oh okay, thanks.
Bitch.
Anyway, so yeah, she kind of showed it to me. She's like, okay, well this is it. This is what we're looking at, and she showed me on the monitor. So. After that, I, just got dressed and they put me back to, they put like an urgency thing on the ultrasound. So like a doctor looked at it immediately. Mm-hmm. And, the consensus was it was coming from the inside and it had its own blood flow. That means it's cancer. I mean, it's either malignant or benign, but it's cancer. It's not a cyst. So, basically that was a consensus. So then after that they made me an appointment to see a urologist from there.
So did they use the word cancer right there?
Yeah, they did. The doctor, the physician, he told me right there, he's like, yeah, this is cancer. So that freaked me out. I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah, that's one of my questions is describe your mindset when he said the word cancer. Because a lot of people pop culture wise would associate that moment with like in Breaking Bad when they tell Walter White he's got cancer, and just the room just kind of goes into this kind of half deaf tinnitus type ringing, and he's just zoning out, and all this other shit's going on, and the doctor's talking, but he's really not hearing him. It's not quite like you would get from a Charlie Brown teacher, but it's like,
yeah, I mean, he, you know, he basically told me, and then kind of talks about it a little bit, and, you know, said, here's what's next, and da-da-da-da-da, and...
Did he hand you a pamphlet?
No, he walked out, and then I was alone, and then, yeah, it was weird. I kind of felt like the room, yeah, like it wasn't there, and like it was like it opened up, and I was just really thinking about, you know, what I'm going to tell my wife, but yeah, I mean, it freaked me out because, yeah, when somebody says cancer, I mean, you think about the chemo or the radiation. You think about people with no hair laid out in beds that are like skin and bullets,
shitting themselves.
Yeah, you know, you think about the worst things like that, and you know, so that's why I was freaked out, because I was like, oh, you know, because you don't know how bad it is.
No, not until they get it out of you and they examine it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and until I get a CAT scan, and we can get to that. But yeah, I mean, that's really, you don't know how bad it is until you get that CAT scan, and until they do a biopsy and whatnot. But yeah, no, I mean, I was pretty distraught. I mean, it was hard to take that. I was, you know, because, you know, I was thinking, you know,
you were hoping best case scenario, obviously.
Well, yeah, it was
worst case scenario.
Yeah, it was. Well, yeah. But I was thinking, like, man, I can't. You know, part of me was like, I can't believe this like happened to me. I know a lot of people in my life who live really risque lifestyles where are drinking pop nonstop, they're smoking, they're drinking every day, they're eating fast food every day, processed foods, and just doing terrible things to their bodies. And like I'm like kind of known as like kind of the health freak. Like I'm into running and backpacking, trail running and skating and biking. I lift weights. You know, I'm really active. I eat really healthy. But I'm you know, I've always kind of been on a whole food diet for a long time. I stopped eating fast food over a decade ago. Stopped drinking pop a decade ago after that was basically giving me kidney stones and almost killed me back then.
Yeah, you're green pea.
Yeah, so I changed my lifestyle back then when kidney stones almost killed me. And that was totally related to my lifestyle. So I got really healthy, but yeah, so it's like I was kind of doing all this stuff to extend my life or be healthier, and got cancer anyway. I'm not saying that those lifestyle choices are what gave me. I mean, you know, I probably will never know how or why I got it. You know?
You pass by some guy on the ride home who's smoking and eating a Big Mac, and you're like, "Fuck you!"
But yeah, you know, so that's kind of what was weird too, I suppose. But
then you had to tell the wife.
She didn't know I went to the doctor that day. I didn't want to tell her. You know, she was pregnant. I didn't want to do anything to stress her out. And I told her that night, though, after I confirmed, because I wanted to confirm everything. Because if it was something else, then it would be easier. But so yeah, she came home and she was on the couch. I think we had eaten dinner already, and
you had to be like, you know how you said you get sick of playing with my balls when I ask you to? Well, funny story.
So, yeah, no, I mean, I just took her hands and looked her in the eye and said, I went to the doctor today and I have testicular cancer. And she just kind of started tearing up and said, what? And I'm like, yeah, it's...
Well, you kind of you can't just ease into that when you got to kind of just pull the Band-Aid off.
Yeah, I wasn't going to try and do that. So, so yeah, obviously we were both upset because that's kind of the worst time right there, because you really don't know the extent of the damage. I mean, I got cancer, so it's like, okay, I know this thing is in my testicle right now, but what if it's in my lymph nodes? What if it's spread? What if it's in my organs? You know, like Lance Armstrong. You know, how bad is this? So that's what's freaking us out. Basically, we got to wait and find that stuff out. So
that was all dependent upon your blood work.
Blood work and CAT scan. So I didn't get a CAT scan the next day. I got it the day after. And then I think I got blood work that day too. So, you want me to talk about the CAT scan or?
Well, I think I know what they did. They put a thing over your lap and then they scanned your nads. I mean, I know what a CAT scan entails.
I haven't, when I had kidney stones, I think I had an MRI. I don't know, maybe your medical people could correct me on that. But I'd never had the where they hook an IV up to me and they injected a serum.
A serum?
Yeah.
And it did not make you Captain America?
No, it was like Total Recall.
Shit deal. Shit deal.
No, it was I think it's like a colored, it has something to do with, so the scan works properly and they can pick everything up. But it's really weird because it's a
hyper-radiant dye.
Yeah, but it's warm and it immediately feels like you have to pee really bad.
I didn't have that. When I went in for my CAT scan for my hernia, she's like, okay, well, I'm going to take off the block now and you're going to feel a rush of warmth.
Yeah.
And you just, within one beat of your heart, you're like, woo, I haven't felt this way since the last time I drank Yag. Because Yag would always make me feel kind of warm.
Okay.
That's what I compared it to.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it was kind of like something like that, but it was weird. And, so yeah, that thing takes minutes. I mean, it takes a couple minutes for them, 4 minutes maybe, and I think costs like what, $1,700 to get a CAT scan, I think. So it's like, geez. But anyway, well, that's because the radiologist too has to. It's expensive equipment, and then the radiologist gets paid a lot of money to analyze your scans and whatnot. So the CAT scan came back good, essentially. The cancer, the tumor, was all isolated in my right testicle. It wasn't in my lymph nodes. It wasn't in my organs. It was nowhere. So it was all isolated right there. So it was the best situation it could be. And then the blood markers came up good too. The blood test, the tumor markers were there. It confirmed that too, that it was cancer. It looks, based on these numbers, it looks like it's all isolated in your right testicle.
So that's a rush of relief.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, well so we were really satisfied about that. So then the next step is, do you want to go to the sperm bank and make a deposit before you get your right testicle removed? The only option was basically, there's a 10% chance that this tumor could be benign. So it's basically like, cut this thing off or not. So
right.
Obviously everybody's going to say, yeah, let her go. My urologist told me, though, he said they wouldn't know until they took it out how long it's been. Because I was like, how long do you think this has been in there? And he estimated it at 6 to 9 months based on the size of it. So I was kind of surprised. I was like, oh man, I missed it for that long. Because I know, I knew I was giving myself exams down there. I guess maybe not good enough. Maybe you need to be a little bit more thorough. But
it's your balls. How thorough can you possibly get? You feel your balls. It's not like there's like an extra spot of ball you can't get to.
No, I know.
Or you got to pull your legs up over your head and be like, honey, come in here. We got to go to the danger zone. I need you. I need your knuckles.
That was basically the option was, consider what you're going to do here. You're going to remove your testicle. You're only going to have one testicle. After you get your testicle removed and you only have one testicle, well, then if your post-treatment plan includes radiation and or chemo, that could damage your fertility or completely destroy it. So that's where it's like... So then I didn't have, I figured I didn't have a choice. I mean, fortunately, Amber was pregnant with our first child at the time. So we were happy about the timing there, but... I did go to the sperm bank, and I don't know exactly the scientific term, what it's called again.
Jacking off into a cup, I believe is how you pronounce that.
So yeah, I went there twice.
Fired off some knuckle children into the old Dixie cup, and
yep, it was very interesting. That was a weird experience too. I mean, there's different reasons why guys go there, for my problem, for fertility problems, maybe for the heck of it.
There's a bunch of college guys in there looking for spring tuition that were all high-fiving at the end.
there was a lot of guys going in there. I mean, a lot.
As opposed to a lot of girls going in there to jack off their penises.
No, but it was kind of concerning. It's kind of like, well, geez, like, why are there so many guys coming in here, Because you read about fertility problems, and you and I personally know a few people kind of gone through some of that, and, it's just like... I was just wondering like how many guys are here for that, or it's kind of freaky. I don't know. But yeah, the woman, they give you the instructions. Have you've never gone to one of these places? Or?
No, I've never. Me and Neil wanted to years ago, but I never found one.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, I would have been.
Well, yeah, because don't
totally load rich.
Don't you mean donating?
I would have just brought in a sock and said, just soak this for a little bit, and then just parse it out amongst a few different vials. I've been collecting samples since high school. Here you go. There's about 7 years worth.
Yeah. So do you want me to continue on with this?
Well, you gave yourself an erection, and then you brought yourself to climax. And then at the end, if you were like me, you went, skate, skate, skate! And then you went, here you are.
No, there's a... it's like the urine sample thing. There's a little metal door on the side of the wall, and you throw it in there. But it's just weird. The room is the room is basically... the place I went, it's like a hotel room, and it was like a nice room. But there is an option where you can have intercourse with your significant other and fill up a condom and then put that in the thing.
What fucking fun is that?
Well, I don't know. I mean,
I don't like wearing condoms when I have to. Why would I wear a condom if I want to?
Yeah.
Well, you could. I could, or, I mean, it's not like, I suppose she can't just like suck it out and then spit it into the cup for you. None of the fun ways of getting the jizz out are what they accept. It's all very unromantic when you go there.
Yeah, it's funny too because they say the very first part of the sample is like the most important part, so make sure that gets in to the cup. And I don't know, it was really awkward, like because I wasn't prepared to how I should hold stuff, and the woman told me beforehand, she's like, if any of the sample misses the cup, let me know. So we can like
come in there with a Clorox wipe, or
I don't know.
What? She comes in with a scraper and then takes it off of the Afghan and then puts it into the cup. And great, now I've got fibers.
I think just so they can clean it up. I mean, can you imagine walking into one of those rooms with a black light? I mean, I'm sure there's like probably stuff everywhere. So
I'd be more concerned that there's a painting on the wall, like in a Scooby-Doo mystery, where the eyes are moving and somebody's behind there watching you.
It's like
you unzip.
It's like 7.
You just hear someone in the background go, "Hello." God damn it, Sulu! What are you doing here?
So yeah, I did that twice, and actually that doesn't cost that much money. Well, the upkeep.
How much is not that much?
Well, yeah, I mean, actually, insurance covered damn near half of it, I think. But I think it was like
you got paid to masturbate. That's what you just basically said. The insurance covered half of it. They paid a portion of you jacking off. I just want you to think about that.
Well, there's one benefit there.
There's somebody at Medica right now that has to go through paperwork. And they're looking at your name, and they see what you did. They're like, oh, okay, well, forward it to this billing department for the guy who got paid to jack off. Hope you enjoyed yourself, fucker.
I can't remember now. I thought it was like $600-700, I think, for one visit, and that covers 6 months of cryogenic storage.
Imagine what they're paying to keep all of Walt Disney frozen. They only needed about 1/10 of an ounce of you.
So then, I think after 6 months, if you decide to keep the samples, which my doctor confirmed were good, it's like $90 a month.
So it's like a bank. You just go in there and be like, I'd like to make a withdrawal. I need my sperm.
Yeah.
Can you give it to me back in large bills? I want shards, not little drips. Make it into a popsicle so you can just stick in there.
So, I mean, and that's all. And it's interesting, too, because you read the paperwork on that. And, I mean, it's basically all theoretical. I mean, they obviously they're protecting themselves legally. But, yeah, it's just like, yeah, this might not work. And, it might all die and cryogenic storage, and then when you take it out, it might die, and then if you it might not work once we if we use it to fertilize eggs or this or that, and so
what you're telling me is it's pretty fucking worthless almost.
No, I haven't looked at the success rates. I haven't looked at any studies.
Well, the success rate is 0% when you consume it, and 63% when you stick it in one of your orifices. That's not your mouth.
It's,
2% anally. I don't know how that breaks down, but there have been a few butt babies.
You could have just done it at home, put it turkey baster and throw it in the freezer for free, or ice cube trays, or
Yeah, I have a fridge. I can keep it cold.
I'm guessing that they have more specialized equipment, but
I almost want to try to see if that works now. Just start saving little Dixie cups of my jizz in there.
start filling up those protein tubs out there.
Yeah, an entire 2-pound protein tub of cum.
It'll be like...
Could I just throw that in a bathtub and just let her soak in it and hope that they swim?
I was worried when I saw those. I thought of Howard Hughes. I'm like, oh, what's Dumpy doing here?
They're not Kleenex boxes or jars of urine. I'm not keeping my fingernails. Just because my wisdom teeth are in a jar right there doesn't mean I have a weird fascination with keeping body parts and waste.
Well, the night is young.
Yeah. So day of surgery rolls around.
After everything was confirmed, I think my surgery was scheduled, I think, a month.
I could have done it for you like that day with box cutter.
So yeah,
and some Bactine.
I thought it worked out pretty good. How fast everything moved.
You go there. They put you in the gown.
Well, yes. So I went to a place in Maple Grove.
Their medical center.
No, not the medical center. It's a surgery center.
It was a guy's house.
No. But it was a really nice place. Really, really nice people there. So I took off Friday and Monday. My surgery was scheduled for Thursday at 1 p.m.
Okay.
But I went to work Thursday morning anyway, because you know me, I like to work. And it was kind of funny because people were asking me at work, like, hey, I thought your surgery's today. Don't you got surgery? I'm like, yeah, it's at 1 p.m.
Don't worry, I didn't eat nothing.
I can work. I'm fine. And they're like, oh, geez, man, I can't believe you're here. So I worked until, 11:30 noon, and Amber picked me up and took me to the surgery center.
I would have taken my ball out for like one last ride. I would have gone to have a burger with my ball. I would have gotten in a balloon. Tied the string around that one ball because, you're not going to have it anymore anyway.
Yeah, so...
Just tell it, it's okay, it's not your fault. Stroke it gently, reassure it.
I sat there for a little bit in the waiting room, and then they got me in. But yeah, so I got my IV, and then it's pretty cool because I was wondering too, because you read all these horror stories about wrong limbs getting removed and stuff like that, where they... Whoops, I meant to take a lung out or a kidney out, and we took a heart out, and you took your heart out or whatever.
You have one heart, so I feel like they'd be... First off, they wouldn't be telling you. Unless they're telling you after they put it back in and go, oh, fuck, sorry, we mixed up the OR with the...
But yeah, we were like, yeah, maybe I should put a black X on there or something like, or put us, remove this one, please. But yeah, like basically every single person in that room, I was asked like 5-6 times,
which testicle?
Yeah, like what are we doing today? And I'm like, you're removing my right testicle.
And then one smart ass in the back room's like, gender reassignment. Son of a bitch! They grafted me a vagina. Look at that clit. Look at that thing.
So then the anesthesiologist basically explained everything and da-da-da-da-da. And I told him that, I had my wisdom teeth removed recently, and that was still healing. And at that time, too, I had a temporary crown and a temporary bridge over here. I had some other dental work done, so I had, just in case anything was going to fall out or whatever, he wanted to know about that, too. But
you're getting your ball removed. You're not going into a boxing match.
No, I know, but if something for some reason fell out, and they'd want to know. I don't know. You didn't go under for your surgery, did you? I can't remember.
To have my hernia fixed? Yes, they cut me open. I do this shit. Just give me a bite stick and I deserve the pain. Yes, no, they fucking put me under. But I walked into the OR with holding my IV bag. I'm like, let's do this shit. Cut me open, fix me up. He's like, what? I'm like, come on, let's go.
But you know how it is then. They give you something. It's like when I had my first surgery or my major kidney stone operation, the guy basically explained to me, he's like, all right, I'm going to give you this. It's going to feel like you just had 6 beers. And that's what it was like. It's not like the anesthesia, but it's like it's like the start of it or whatever. And, it's basically like that. They give that to you and you're just really euphoric. And, I rolled into that surgery room and I don't remember much after that. I remember a few people around me and then that was it. I woke up and, I saw the anesthesiologist and Amber and that was it.
Now, here's the question everybody wants to know. Did he show you your ball afterwards?
No.
He didn't put it in a jar? He didn't give it to you to take home?
No, it went... No, they sent it right to the U of M for the biopsy testing. So I never saw it again, no.
I'm shaking my head.
Yeah.
Not even like a picture when you were unconscious, you like holding your ball next to your face and they take a Polaroid for you?
No, they did not do that.
I just want to point out right now that since your surgery, I have been calling you Uno, but here's one thing we have not broached topics of. You can't give anybody the Arabian goggles anymore. You can only give them the Arabian eye patch.
Oh, yeah.
There's only one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bet you didn't think of that one before.
No, I didn't, but I mean, I would still work pretty good.
I mean, you could just pull like the loose sack skin over her other eye, but it's
you know,
not the
it
same.
kind of it. You know, surprisingly, I was worried about that, but it kind of naturally, like, kind of tightened up, and like the right. I was worried about it looking weird because you know, they ask basically, do you want a prosthetic? And I'm like, no, that sounds stupid. I don't know.
Because you're worried about all these people you'd be showing your balls off to from there on out, obviously.
Yeah. Well, you know, the right down the road from my house is the largest nudist resort in the Midwest. Right there.
Yeah, but it's not like you guys are comparing balls.
Well,
I feel like they're a little bit.
I might want to go there someday and hang out with those people.
It's okay, everybody. I only have one testicle. I just want to. Let's get it out of the way now. Just get the looks in. Get the stares. Get it out of your fucking system.
I'm sure I wouldn't be the only one. John Dillinger used to hang out there. He used to hide out there
with the nudies.
Well, no, back then when he was hiding out there, it was literally a campground, but he hid out there.
Oh.
There's like buildings there that like have his picture. Now it's a weird hippie nudist resort. But yeah, right there on beautiful Cedar Creek in East Bethel. Anyway, we can talk about that.
All the weird hippie.
We should try. Maybe we should try and go there someday.
Yeah, maybe I don't want to do that because I don't want to walk around naked with you.
My dad went there once. He used to be a phone man for US West, and he said that he had to take calls there. You know, back in the day, you know, the phone's broken. They call the phone man goes there, physically goes there, and he said he walked into a trailer and there was 6 naked guys sitting in recliner chairs drinking beer. That's what he told me it was.
Yeah, that's called foreplay. That's before the circle jerk.
They're just waiting for the hot chicks to show up.
Yeah, that's never going to happen. It's just like ladies' night. There's like 4 fat chicks and then 90 dudes that all came there to fuck supermodels. And
I don't know. That's not what I hear. Like at what's it called? Wild Bills and Blaine. I hear ladies' night there's actually a big ratio of females to males.
There are tons of sluts in Blaine. You are correct.
Well, okay. So wait. Oh, okay. So yeah, the prosthetic thing and all that. Yeah. So I mean, I declined that. At first, it seemed like the skin on the right side there was kind of like loose and hangy and whatnot, but it's like tightened up, like naturally come back up around the left one, and yeah.
Well, yeah, it's holding on to that remaining ball for dear life because your scrotum is scared that it may be all by itself one day. Don't you leave me, damn
yeah.
you.
So yeah, it really doesn't look that weird. And then the other interesting thing is too, I asked the doctor, you know, so what happens to my fertility is halved. That gets a little screwed up. Not necessarily halved, but then the other thing is hormones. I was like, well, man, what happens to testosterone? And apparently, when you lose a testicle, whether naturally or unnaturally, the other one doubles its efforts. So like your hormone levels don't change.
But did you still tell the wife, well, now we got to fuck twice as much if we're trying to make a new baby? She wasn't there with you and the doctor. She doesn't know.
No. So I don't know. I mean, I think I'll have to. Everything works fine. You know, I think this, as far as the stuff in the bank goes. I mean, I don't know if I probably have to go there, get myself tested again with my current situation, like test the
sperm count,
the purity of my semen.
The purity. It's not heroin. It's jizz.
A baby batter. So anyway, yeah. So
somebody's cut this with baking powder. Son of a bitch! It's a bad batch. It's shit. It's shit, man. It's shit. Quick, spit it out.
So yeah. So I figure I'll probably have to get that tested and then determine, you know, if my fertility is normal, and then I guess, you know, that's all what we're gonna do as far as planning down the road if we want to have another kid. And I don't want to like pay to keep that stuff in the cryogenic storage forever. So I think one day if
use it or lose it.
Yeah, if everything's fine, I'm sure I'm just gonna dump that stuff. I call them and they open the window and dump it or what.
There's just a big old pile of fucking frozen cylinder shaped cumsicles outside one of the windows out back every day around the same time. And there's stray dogs that wander in that consume the protein.
I think that's how Resident Evil started, maybe.
When I was getting my hernia fixed, there was a guy that was getting his too, obviously, because it was the Lee Island Coast Surgical Center. There was other surgeries going on, and they did all the hernia repairs on one day of the week, Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy talked about how he had surgery before he had a nut removed.
Oh, yeah, he told me that, yeah.
And he had a nudicle, a fake ball.
Yeah, okay.
And he said it was nothing but pain. Like it got infected,
yeah, well,
it swelled way up.
I thought about that, too. I mean, anytime you introduce
foreign bodies.
Foreign objects into your body, your body's just going to attack it. And
that's why I didn't go with the surgical mesh. That's why I went down to Florida to get my hernia fixed, is because they did it no mesh with some fancy technique developed by a guy
they
from
have
India.
to use a mesh or what?
That's the standard around here. There's nobody that does the Desarda method up here.
Okay. I remember you told me something about that, so I figured. But, yeah, I mean, I didn't know what the surgery was like. I figured, when they told me I can't remember what it's called. Is it orectomy or something like? Did you ever look at it? It's oreorectomy or something like that? They
took Oreos out of your rectum?
That's the technical term. And
you could just go to Dairy Queen and get a Blizzard.
I mean, I wasn't sure how they did it, so I was like, well, yeah, how do they do it? And yeah, I mean, they cut in your very lower abdomen. I mean, basically almost into your groin.
Yeah, it's the same spot pretty much where I had my inguinal hernia fixed.
Yeah.
So they got to pull your vas deferens and all the tube out from there. It's not like they're just cutting into your sac and then clipping you and you're done.
Yeah, right. They go in there and, obviously I don't know your situation, but I mean, they go to get to my testicle and all the plumbing connected to that. They got to go pretty deep. I mean, they're going through like 6-7 levels of muscle and tissue. I mean, they're going deep in there.
Mine, I don't think was that bad.
Yeah, it is deep. And then they snip everything off, pull the stuff out, and
just fucking yanking on it till it comes out.
It was like, starting a lawnmower. But yeah, they get they get that out, and they tie it off, 6-7 times. And
that sucks because last summer the cord on my mower broke. Like, fuck! The fucking ball's still... God damn, who's got the skinniest fingers? Reach up in there.
So, yeah, I mean, so they tie it off 6-7 times, whatever, and then they stitch you up internally 3, 4, 5 times in there.
Jesus.
With the kind of stitches that,
dissolve.
Sutures,
dissolvable sutures.
Yeah, and then the top part, they did some stitching, I think, but then they like glued that shut. That was glued shut.
The fuck?
Yeah, it was interesting. So
you didn't have to go to like a surgical center for that. A guy could do that in a van with a staple gun and some fucking crazy glue.
It's whatever. But anyway, so that was a surgery, and I took those days off. So
laid up for how many days?
Yeah,
just so
I think no, I stayed home Tuesday too. I called in on Monday, and I'm like, I'm not gonna make it Tuesday, so I took Tuesday off as well.
And the whole place just collapsed, right? Without you there for those 3 extra days.
No.
The whole pot went to piss, right?
No, they're okay. They're all right.
They replaced you with a South Korean woman.
So
she doubled your output.
But yeah, so it was rough. I mean, I consider myself pretty fortunate. People that get cancer, it's a really, really bad, crappy situation. A lot of people don't survive it. Testicular cancer is, I think, the most survivable cancer. It's like the easiest one to beat. I think 90+% of people beat it because it's weak. It's like the bitch ass of cancers, apparently.
Bitch ass of cancer.
So,
you ain't shit, testicular cancer. Fuck you.
Yeah. So apparently, going back to Lance Armstrong. Even he beat it, and he was in like stage 4 Uber level. He was being killed by it.
Money. He had money.
Yeah, he did.
Just like Magic Johnson and his being HIV free magically. Yeah, it's money.
So I was stage 1, caught it early, and they just had to cut the thing out of me, and then we went from there. I'll get to the post-treatment part. But
had this been Gary, Indiana, a guy named DeAndre would have done it with a lawnmower blade in like his tool shed at his uncle's house because they're poor there.
Well, yeah, I mean...
And don't get me started on Mississippi. You might as well just fucking kill yourself. It's going to be a greasy horror show.
So, I mean, I felt very fortunate after it was all done. But, I mean, yeah, it was painful. You can't take NSAIDs, like ibuprofen. You can't take anti-inflammatories because they don't want you to thin your blood, because those things thin your blood.
Right.
So... That sucks the most because I don't like painkillers. You know,
I didn't take any with my hernia surgery. He gave me a prescription for Vicodin.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I'm not going to do that. He's like, are you sure? I got 800 milligram ibuprofen. I should be. I was like, all right.
Yeah, I had Vicodin. That was what was prescribed to me for my wisdom teeth, and I ended up getting dry socket bad, and I did take some Vicodin to help me sleep, but I felt like it actually kept me awake. So I stopped. I think I tried using it once, and I didn't use it again.
Did it make you feel good?
Not really. I would, if I wanted to get like that, I'd rather just have a few good beers, some craft brews.
Right, because people compare Vicodin to beers versus hardcore opiate abusers that are like, fucking Vicodin, man, that ain't shit. I got a fentanyl patch on my dick. I got a needle in my arm. I even sucked off the guy next to me because he was dying, and I wanted some of what he had left.
So
it's like a beer, It's like a good craft, a dark ale.
And I'm not saying that's what it's like. I'm just saying if I wanted to get loopy like that, that's what I'd rather do is what I'm saying. But anyway, yeah. So this time around, they gave they prescribed me Percocet. So I had Percocet. That stuff sucks because it really shuts down your digestive process. I mean, it makes you super constipated. And I was I had to take that because you can't take ibuprofen. You can take Tylenol, and that does a little something, but I had to take some of that Percocet, especially to try and help me sleep. Because I just wanted to rest.
Did it hurt when you peed?
Not. I think the very first time it kind of did. But no, not really. It more hurt to stand up and sit down. I mean,
oh yeah, it took me on average 8 minutes to get out of bed to go piss.
Yeah,
right after my surgery.
Yeah, right. So I stopped taking Percocet when I was close to being able to take some ibuprofen, which wasn't until like Tuesday night or Wednesday, based on their timeline and when I could take that.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, it was really painful. I mean, I was good the first day because I still had like the local anesthesia and whatnot. When I woke up the next day, it was bad. Like I mean, it took like 10 minutes to get out of bed. Like it hurt.
My dad left to let me watch TV to unwind at one point, and I was having trouble getting up, and I almost just pissed on the bed and then rolled onto the other side because it was a queen. I was like, fuck this shit. It's not even my bed. I don't care.
It's unbelievable.
Let's use this spare pillow to soak it up.
Yeah, it was unbelievable how painful it was and how you just cannot. I mean, they cut open my core muscles and whatnot, so it's not surprising. But yeah, I had Amber's parents. They gave me this step stool. This plastic step, so I'm really glad they borrowed that to us because that was something I could put to start getting out of bed. Our bed's kind of high, so. But I mean, Amber was there to help me. But yeah, I usually for the first I think the first couple of days, I sat down to pee Well, it was kind of like it was hard to stand, but it was hard to sit down too. So it was, I don't know. I experimented both ways.
I'm gonna isolate that soundbite and use it for so many other things later.
Okay, well that's totally fine. So I felt like I was starting to feel better on the end of the day, Friday and Saturday morning. Like I was feeling like, I'm feeling better. I was taking Percocet, so obviously I was feeling, I felt like I was feeling pretty good. But man, that stuff doesn't really, whatever, like why people get addicted to it. It helps like take your mind away from it. But what really sucked, I was really lucky is I was just getting over a cold when I was getting my surgery. I can tell you what, They never stress this, but man, if you had a cold, you could not get that surgery or a surgery like yours.
Yeah, because coughing would be excruciating.
It was unbelievable. I fortunately was just getting over my cough, but then I kind of developed like a later cough.
Where you're breathing
the next
and it kind
week.
of tickles your throat and you're like,
Yeah, dude, I was able to hold off sneezing for an entire week. I didn't sneeze until the following Friday, so 1 week later, and I was at work then. Jesus. And I sneezed and it put me on the ground. I collapsed to the ground to my knees and I almost went home.
Did anybody tell you to hunker down and hold your surgical site when you did?
No.
Oh, I fucking knew that.
Well, I mean, no, I braced myself. I mean, I could tell naturally to like I engaged my core, and that made it a lot better. And then I had a cough the following week. I developed kind of a little cough from I don't know what it was, but I could
tuberculosis.
I could brace my core, and I could block it well. But anyway, going back to the first weekend, like I wanted to do something fun, I guess. So I told my brother Luke and our friend Bryce to come over to play some games, fantasy card games we have and stuff like that, and board games.
Magic the Gathering.
No, not Magic the Gathering. It's called
Pokemon.
No,
Pokemon cards.
No, it's called Hero Realms.
I don't know what that means.
It's a deck building card game. Hero Realms. Look it up. It's fun.
It's a game about building decks.
No, that's a type
like multi-tier or just like a small one for a patio or
No. You build a deck and you fight each other. But anyway, so I thought it would be a good idea for those guys to come over and kind of hang out and stuff. And yeah, it was not because they made me laugh.
Yup. I fucking hung up on Rick James. I'm like, I gotta let you go, you bastard. You're gonna make me laugh. And I had to shut off Tosh.0. I'm like, don't fucking talk to me, Dad. Just leave me alone.
Yeah, so here. I know. So it ended up being a kind of a bad idea because I so many times I had to run out or I would go on the ground, and if you laugh in that situation, it was excruciating. Like I was like, and it hurt.
That's how you laughed, or how Luke laughed? That almost sounds like Luke laughing.
It was
laughing and crying at the same time. Actually,
it was so painful. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I stayed home those days. Excuse me. I stayed home and just hung out. I mean, I was mostly laid up in bed most of the time. Sometimes I was on the couch, but I mean, yeah, I was just watching, Amazon Prime and Netflix and stuff. And
long-term prognosis. Now they said you should be good.
Yeah.
Right?
So yeah, it was basically again the best situation it could be. After the biopsy, they figured out it was the good kind of testicular cancer, and it was all isolated there. So I only need to get a CAT scan like every 6 months for like 3 years.
Huh.
So, and if that's preventative, I think with my insurance, if that's preventative, that doesn't cost anything or costs very little. So that's good. But yeah, that's basically it. It was basically the best situation possible. So I feel really fortunate because, and blessed because, I mean,
it could have been worse.
It could have been a lot worse. And these people, I don't know. I feel kind of weird because it's like, I got cancer, but it doesn't really feel like it because of, like I said, what people traditionally think when they think of cancer, when people talk about I have cancer, my family member has cancer. It seems like because I obviously know family members who have had cancer and have had to have chemo and radiation. People, have it a lot worse than I did. I mean, I caught it early, so that's why I think it's important to
check yourself.
Yeah,
often.
Yes,
thoroughly. Just like Buddy Check 11. If you know somebody that you think can help you out, just to get in there and feel each other's balls up. Isn't that how that works with the Buddy Check 11 for the girls? They feel each other's tits for tumors.
I'm not familiar with that.
I'm being facetious. You've never heard of Buddy Check 11?
No.
It's a Care 11 thing.
No.
Oh, God. I always use Buddy Check 11 when I try to grope the old lady's tits.
Oh, jeez.
And she got so sick of me saying Buddy Check 11 one day that I had to coax it out of her. I'm like, what's my cat's name? And she's like, Boomer. I'm like, no, the other one. She's like, Buddy. I'm like, okay, so if someone's going to pay you... they write you a, she's like, check. She's like, God damn it. I'm like, what number comes between 10 and 12? She's like, 11. Get the fuck away from me. Like, Buddy Check 11. No, the testicular cancer, not hereditary.
No, not in my family. I mean, it's not, as far as I know, I'm the first person in like both my mom and dad's side that had anything like this. So it's environmental in some way, I guess.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, it's pretty freaky because in the back of my head, yes, it's like, I still have one, now I have one testicle, so I have to be careful because some kind of extreme trauma to my left testicle could just, I could destroy it still,
I've seen you take some serious traumas to the testicles, crashing bikes.
Yeah, I don't do that a lot anymore.
I always worry about the hereditary part because breast cancer is. So, right. With the Dirty B's mom getting her boobies cut up, I'm like, oh my God, please don't let that happen to the missus. I don't want her to lose her tits. That's like 10% of why I like her.
Jeez. Yeah, so
I can't have boobies hitting me in the face when we're doing it. The first time, I have to ask this one, the first time you came after the surgery, did it feel any different? I'm legitimately asking you this question.
I don't know if we should talk about this.
You don't have to tell me what you were doing. I'm just asking if it felt different when you came.
Well, I didn't...
Clearly you were having sex with your wife. We're not going to describe what was going on.
Yeah, well, I didn't...
People have sex. It's okay. We're in our 30s. So we know where the birds and the bees all take place, in the bedroom.
Yeah, well...
Or a porta potty.
I didn't...
What?
I didn't... I couldn't have sex for 2 weeks. So, it was...
Oh, no. 2 weeks. You didn't have sex for 23 years.
Yeah, no, I know. But, it might have been more like 3 weeks, I think. But what...
Well, I'd be curious about the difference in volume, because now you've only got one ball producing.
Oh, okay.
Clearly, some of the seminal fluid is produced by the expression of the prostate gland.
I don't think that's changed. No, I don't think that's changed.
So it still feels just as nice.
Well, yeah, that's the same. The volume is the same. Yeah, everything's the same. Like I said, just like the hormones and everything. That left testicle is doing everything now.
It balances out.
Basically, yeah. So.
Nature finds a way.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming out and talking about your nads with me today.
Yeah, it was a good time.
It was very informative. I love these episodes where we can talk about real-life experiences where somebody had urgery. Interact with the show on Twitter at What Do We Call It? That is at What Do We Call It? You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/group/What Do We Call It podcast show. For the What Do We Call It podcast, I'm Jmann.
I'm Matt.
And that's the end.
Fondle your balls in the shower. Fully examine each sphere. If you think it's lame, well then make it a game. And grab a buddy who will fondle for you, my dear. What happened to me is not uncommon. There really is no time to waste. If you feel a lump, please don't be a chump.